Hello and welcome to Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. It's always nice to meet a legend, and we've got one today. Donny Osmond, how are you?
Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm delicious, and it's so nice to see you because last night I came to see your show, Donny and Marie, and you blew me away because I'm not that big a fan. I've got to be honest with you. I like you.
You know what? I don't really like you myself, but that's okay.
And you're just a true pro. It was a Tuesday night in Vegas. Let's face it, you've done this show 3 million times, and you made it seem like it was your first, and that's a sign of a true star. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. That's one of the nicest compliments you can give an entertainer, because when you have a long-standing show like this, and it is day in, day out, it can get a little tiring, and you do have to make sure that it feels like and comes across as the first performance. But you know what's really interesting? The audience dictates that a lot. And it was a great crowd last night. We've been having some amazing audiences. A lot of people from England.
Well, they love you, and I'm trying to work this out because I was with your brother Jimmy just a week ago doing an interview with him, and what a gig he had in the West End. He was doing Grease. He sang 3.5 minutes and then left. Perfect.
I know. He told me about that, and I just said, can I have your gig?
And now, of course, you're here with Marie, and the Donny Marie thing isn't as big as Donny Osmond. I've got to tell you this in the UK.
Well, you know, you better talk to Marie about that, because...
But I'm more of a fan of her than you. I don't know why.
Really? Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, since we're sitting so closely together here.
Isn't she just adorable?
No. Once you get to know her, no.
And what's it like being you? Because I saw those fans baying for your body outside that theatre yesterday, and they just think you're marvellous.
Yeah, I pay each and every one of those girls to do that every night. It's amazing the effect that it has on the rest of the audience.
Now, coming up over the next hour, we're going to play some songs that we all know and stuff off your new album. We're going to talk about how you got here today, and of course being here in Vegas, because it's not an easy life because you're flying in and out. How do you work that?
Well, it's difficult. It's very difficult because the schedule, well, you saw the show last night and how much energy it takes. You really have to pace yourself throughout the days. But my wife and I decided to stay in Utah, and I commute back and forth because the children, they have their lives, and I didn't want to uproot that. You know, you have a teenager, and they've got their friends and the little youngsters in grade school, and that's very important to them, so I wasn't about to interrupt any of that.
But Donny, you're the star. You have the right to do that.
I'm just the dad at home. I am not Donny Osmond, the star. Dad's home. Okay, whatever.
They don't care, do they?
No, even the neighborhood kids. Oh, Uncle Donny's home. They'll call me Uncle Donny. So.
And then, of course, last year you had the big arena tour where you came over with the Osmonds, and you just took the place by storm. How much of a thrill was that?
That was probably one of my favorite tours of my life, of my whole career. That was the final tour of the Osmonds, and it was my brother's 50th anniversary. It was the perfect time to tour. And it took a lot to bring all of those entities together. You think, oh, the Osmond family, they'll just come together. No, it takes a lot of work, Alex, to do that. And so that tour was at least a year in the making.
Do you have to hire a 747 to get all those people over and back?
That's just for the catering crew. Then we have another one for Marie's luggage.
Have you worked out why people are so curious to find out about Donny Osmond?
Alex, I have no idea. You know, I get out there, I enjoy what I do. I've been through so many different incarnations in my career, from the age of 5 to, well, I'm now 25, and plus VAT. But I enjoy what I do. You know, it's a very difficult business to be in. It's a difficult business to break in and maintain. But I've been very fortunate, and I owe a lot of that to the fans, because if they're not out there, I'm not performing.
Normally in these interviews, these in-depth interviews, and I've done everybody, all the big stars, I say to them, tell me about your childhood. Can't really do that about you because we know about your childhood because you were there.
Yeah, it's an open book, isn't it?
We're going to come back next and we'll find out more about Donny Osmond, and we'll talk a bit about Marie and whether or not there's a possibility you could get me a date, because I think I'm in love.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, okay? And I'm also going to tell you some very interesting information, because since we're going to talk about Donny and Marie after the break, I've got some breaking news for you.
What's this exclusive then you've been teasing us with?
Well, the last time Marie and I recorded an album was, I think, 1977. We are in the process of recording another album. And first time in, what, over 30 some odd years, 30, whatever that is. I'm never good at math. But it's going to be coming out over in the UK around the fall. That's what the plan is. And the plan is, even though we're locked into Las Vegas for a 2-year contract, we're going to pop over there and make a personal appearance.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that will be coming up this autumn. Never mind the fall. We're English. We created the language. You ruined it. Remember that.
Yeah, it's going to be in the fall.
So what do we get then? Do we get a live concert with Donny and Marie in the UK?
We're thinking about doing something like that. I mean, that's what the plan is. What we're going to be able to do, conceivably, I don't really know. Whether it's personal appearance or just come over to promote, we want to put together a show. Some kind of a show. I don't know where or what we're going to do, but we're going to try to put it together.
Well, we look forward to that. Let's get back to you, because you're the most important in this interview.
Absolutely.
What were you like as a child? I know we know the public face of Donny Osmond, but what was it really like for you? Because people want to know everything about you.
I was very mischievous. I would cause trouble. I'd be the one that would be the prankster.
Nothing's changed, has it really?
No, it's pretty much the same, yeah.
Can you imagine how my heart feels when I overhear a conversation? Alex is ready to see you now. No, I'm cancelling.
Oh, did you hear me say that? You were supposed to hear me say that.
You can't help it, can you?
No, I love to be the prankster, yeah.
And then, of course, you're a nice guy as well. I've been talking to a lot of people across the strip, all the different PRs I mean. They say, ask him about his wife's birthday party. He's a sweet guy. This is what you've got with a lady.
This?
Well, a lady told me, apparently it was your wife's birthday last year, and you fly in all these friends from school that she hadn't seen in about 700 years. How do you do that?
Well, it's about 800 years. You know, she's a very old woman. No, she used to have a bunch of friends, and they called themselves the Gang. They haven't seen each other in over 30 years. I found every one of them all across the country. Flew them in, unbeknownst to her, and she walks into my suite, and they're all there. What are these 30 women doing in your room?
How did you track them down? Because that's not as easy as it sounds, is it?
No, it took me... I started last October, and her birthday was in February. So it took me a while to put it all together, and my assistant, Tina, right there, she helped me put it together, and it was an amazing celebration. Surprised her very much.
You see, this is why they love you, because money can't buy you everything. It can't buy you memories and history, and that's what you did there. It didn't cost you anything other than an air ticket, but it's the fact that you made the effort.
It cost me a lot of money, Alex.
Was it first class you flew them in?
No.
Not that generous.
No.
The first memory when you realised that everybody had fallen in love with the Donny Osmond that we saw, how old were you? Because you were so young when you became a megastar. What was the point when you realised, I've got it?
Probably around 12 or 13 years old when One Bad Apple came out. I thought this was kind of cool. I was on television, the Andy Williams Show, around 10, 11 years old, and things had started to blossom, but it didn't mushroom yet. And, oh, did you like that analogy? That was a very good analogy.
You're sounding all intelligent. I love this.
I'm proud of myself right now. Yeah, is my head growing? But around 13, 14 is when it really kicked in. When Puppy Love and 12th of Never, Go Away Little Girl, all those songs kicked in. And then when the Donny and Marie show came out and started a whole different kind of career, it was like, wow, this is unbelievable what's going on. And you kind of take it for granted to a certain extent. You think, well, we'll just put out another record and it'll become gold. And then years later, you realize we were very fortunate back then.
All right, we're going to come back next and find out about the Donny and Marie years, because that's now, all these years later, created a whole new thing here in Vegas, and it's still as popular as it ever was. We'll find out about that next. We're back in Las Vegas, USA. It's always nice to come to a top casino to see a top star, and thank you for the time. There must be somebody more important you could talk to.
Right now, you're the most important person in my life, Alex.
Thank you very much. And this Marie...
And by the way, I lie a lot. Anyway, what's your next question?
I was going to talk about this Marie, because this thing you've had, did it just happen by accident in a way, that you both seem to have a personality and get on, and it worked on camera?
Well, there's one wrong statement there, is that we get on. We don't get along. No, we actually do, but there is a sibling rub, you know, and ever since the beginning, you know, Marie and I would always play together in the backyard before I started touring with the brothers. So there was always that Donny and Marie combination right from the get-go. And then once I joined the brothers and we kind of split from each other, it was kind of a nice reunion when Marie came back to the fold, so to speak, and started entertaining on stage. And it was here in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace, as a matter of fact, across the street, where Marie and I sang for the first time, "Where is the love you that in mine, oh mine," from Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack. That's what it was. And I guess it gave our producers an idea, and they said, you know what, they should be recording together. And one thing led to another. And do you like that trumpet solo in the background?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
That wonderful? They're warming up right now. That's Marie actually playing the trumpet. But anyway, that's how it all happened, you know, and one thing led to another. But when we started singing on stage, the magic was already there right from the get-go when we were first young children.
This is the bit now where I get all sycophantic, and it sounds like I'm saying this just to thank you for your time, but I genuinely mean this. You seem to still love it, and that is so infectious. There's so many people who phone it in, especially in a show like this where you're doing it night after night. Were you born to perform? Because I can't imagine you doing anything else. You wouldn't be any good working in a supermarket, would you?
I tried for a while, and nobody would buy anything from me. They just wanted my autograph. No, actually, I think it's a work ethic that my parents instilled in me, particularly my father. He always had a saying, and he and my mother said, if there's anything worth doing, it's worth doing well. So if you're going to have a contract here in Vegas, and we're very fortunate to be in a major hotel right on the Strip, you work hard. And that is exactly what we're doing. We put together a show that is true variety, and a lot of dancing, a lot of singing, a lot of humor, and we enjoy it. Yes, it's hard, Alex. It's very hard. But once the show starts, and once you're into it, you're sweating your guts out, but it's fun.
And your voice seems as good as it ever was, if not better. It seems like it's just there for you. Yeah. How much are you focusing on the songs that you sing?
Well, I don't really have to focus anymore because Britney Spears taught me how to lip sync. And so it really is an advantage. I shouldn't say things like that, now should I?
That's going to be the headline tomorrow, isn't it?
No, I work very hard at what I do. I warm up, I take care of my voice. There was a time in my life where I lost my voice. I was doing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I pushed it too far, and I hemorrhaged a vocal cord. I couldn't sing. And so it scared me so much so that I went to doctors, I went to therapists, I went to vocal coaches, and I said, okay, help me build my voice to the point where I'm going to have it for the rest of my life.
All right, we're going to come back next and find out about the fear of standing in front of an audience. So we'll do it next with Donny Osmond here in Las Vegas. We're back with Donny Osmond here at the Flamingo in Las Vegas, and we're going to talk about the difficult times now, because you're having huge success now, and in the beginning you were mega famous, internationally brilliant, and of course you've still got that today, but in between there's been some lows, and one of those periods was when you were in Joseph and you somehow got this fear of an audience. Mm-hmm. Explain that to me, because it seems odd how you can one day be confident in front of an audience and the next day terrified.
It's quite interesting, Alex. I've had many years to analyze it, obviously, and the way I figured it out is that I lost my career in the late 80s. Actually, in the early 80s, everything just went kind of down into the dumper, but to rebuild a career is a very difficult thing, particularly when you're starting from below ground zero with all that baggage. So when I started doing Joseph and the audiences were standing room only, my fear was that I was going to lose it again. And I knew what that felt like. And so I had to be the best I could be. So if I made a mistake on stage, I would just beat myself up royally. So I'd be afraid to make mistakes because I didn't want to lose my career. But it took time, a lot of therapy, and just hard work to realize, be yourself. If you're yourself, if you're enjoying yourself on stage, the audience will have a good time as well. And that's the time that I embraced puppy love. I stopped making fun of it and enjoyed singing it because, hey, it was a part of my life. It was a part of their life. So enjoy it.
How does that happen when you go from being embarrassed about what you were and who you are to actually being proud of it? I see so many soap stars who deny they ever had a career that made them famous. Mm-hmm. And that's depressing because that's why you're here today. What is that? Is that just growing up?
Well, there's a lot to it. I mean, I'm not going to oversimplify it because success can kind of help take that weight off your shoulder. You can try to take the weight off, but if there's nothing to replace it with success, it's more difficult. So Soldier of Love was called the comeback of the 80s. That was my comeback record. And then Joseph came out and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of hard work to try to regain success so you can shed all that past. But it's like taking all this weight off your shoulders when you can embrace who you were and enjoy it, legitimately enjoy it.
And of course, the Joseph video came out, and there you were virtually naked.
That'll throw anybody into a panic. Alex, when I went into the costume fittings, when I first started that show, I looked at this little piece of material and I said, "Where's the rest of it?" And that was the motivation to get me into the gym 24/7.
But of course, in the video, our Christopher Biggins was your master baker in the video. Do you remember that?
He was, excuse me, what?
The master baker, that was his character.
Okay, say that a little better.
He's so proud of that role.
You're killing me.
That's one of his favorite roles ever. He was only telling me at Christmas.
Yeah, I tell you, it was so much fun to make that show. Every single one of those participants were just so much fun to be with.
Wasn't it stupid, though?
It's a very tongue-in-cheek show. That's what makes it great. You know, just as it starts to get serious, it turns around and becomes a caricature of itself. That's the brilliance of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's writing.
And that's what I saw last night as well. You're happy to show us the clips, and then you make fun of it and yourselves. There's something endearing about that in this business when people don't take themselves too seriously. We don't like anybody who's trying to be a clever dick, do we?
So self-deprecation always works, you know, because people try to build you up, and if you tear yourself down, they don't have to tear you down, because that's just human nature.
You mentioned earlier about the fear thing, and I think Frank Sinatra said in one of his last interviews that he feared that he wouldn't sound like Frank, and people had paid all that money. Vocally, what pressure is on you daily to be perfect?
I don't have any pressure to be perfect anymore. I am who I am. I don't sound like Donny Osmond of the past. I don't even sound like Donny Osmond of 10 years ago. So Donny Osmond's constantly evolving, and that's my MO, basically, is that, okay, what's next for me? I've got plans for the next year, a couple years that I want to do. Some that I'm going to announce very, very soon.
Please do it on here. I could do with the ratings.
It's not locked in yet, but it could be really, really cool. There's so many opportunities, and I'm cherry picking those opportunities now. I am so fortunate that I can be in that kind of position, Alex, where I can do that and I'm not scrambling for work, that I can be choosy and picky for what I do.
All right, next we come back and talk about what it's like to be cool in show business. We're back with Donny Osmond here at the Flamingo in Las Vegas, and what a trip this is. How nice for me to fly all this way to see you.
Well, thank you, Alex. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Anything for a free vacation, that's what I'm all about.
Exactly. How was the trip over? Did you have a good time?
It was all right, but traveling through airports annoying, and you must find this. I mean, are you private jetted, or do you have to go like the rest of us?
I go the commercial airlines. That's what I've been doing since September. It can be trying, but you know, you enjoy it. I love getting out with the public. Yeah, you get stared at all the time. You want autographs and things like that. But I remember dealing with a lot of celebrities in my past where they just shun the public. I don't get that, Alex. I don't get it, because the public put them where they are today. And I mean, yes, there's a private side of my life. Half of my life belongs to my wife and kids, period. But the other half, I'm a celebrity. And if you're going to be a celebrity, be one.
And we all want to know now. I notice you do a lot of these programs where they want to gossip on celebrities, and I saw you on there the other day. Yeah. There's an insatiable need now for us to know everything. Do you know when that happened, when we needed to know everything behind your closed door?
Yeah, it happened when I invented the internet. When I first came out with that whole technology. Basically, everything is at our fingertips now. That's the day and age we live in. I love it because I'm a techno geek, basically. I admit it. And yes, sometimes you get to data overload, but I need to know what's going on, and we have the capability of doing so, and so we take advantage of it. At least I do. That's why I do Entertainment Tonight and The Insider, those two shows, is because I love getting out information. I love acquiring information. The more you know, the more wise decisions you can make.
But it does open you up that they're going to ask you questions that you sometimes may not want to answer.
I don't hide anything, buddy. Seriously, I don't. You know, if I don't want to answer something, I'll be totally honest with you and just say I'm not going to answer that question, rather than try to hide, because I have nothing to hide.
One of the first times I heard an interview with you was on the Howard Stern show years and years and years ago.
You heard that?
I did, and I saw the video of it as well, and it's just so great the way you handled him, who's trying to get stuff out of you. If you've got nothing to hide, there's nothing to fear, and I think that's really your mantra, isn't it?
I think it is. I'll never forget, just about 10 minutes before I walked into his lair, basically, I'm sitting there sweating bullets. And then I had a kind of an epiphany. I thought, why am I worried? You know, yes, he's going to ask me some very provocative questions, and I will give him honest answers. I have nothing to hide. It was that very moment, about 5 minutes before I walked in, I realized it's okay. Everything's cool.
And then, of course, your fans outside get to meet you during the show because you go and shake their hands and you stand on their tables. 2 words for you: health, safety.
Yes. I have fallen off those tables a couple times. Alex, I thought one night I broke a couple ribs. I was in so much pain, but I went on the next night. I did another show. But I've got it down pat to where I'm pretty much an acrobat now.
But, I mean, it's like a Cirque du Soleil show, the way you jump over those tables.
I know, it is crazy, isn't it? The president of our hotel, or the hotel here, Don Mirandino, he just worries every night that something's going to happen. And I love living on the edge.
What I worry, though, more than you falling off the tables is a lady pulling you off the tables, because they like to hold you.
It happened the other night. I leaned. I shouldn't tell you this story. I shouldn't disclose this because I don't want to give anybody ideas. But I was on the table, and there are people on both sides of the table, and I leaned down to one side of the table, and the lady behind me just kind of gave me a nice little pinch. Oh yes, and I sang a couple octaves higher on that moment.
I'm thinking, are you the first person to invent dancing on tables in Las Vegas? I don't think this has happened before, has it?
With my clothes on, yes, yeah.
We're back in Las Vegas with Donny Osmond. In our remaining moments, we're going to talk more about you. But first, I met up with your brother just recently, Jimmy, and he's now in Chicago, in the West End, and he was telling me all about you, and I was getting the gossip. And he said something about a private jet and the windscreen crashing or smashing or something happened, and Donny Osmond was nearly finished. What happened?
He made it all up.
Did he? I don't blame him.
Well, no, there was a plane that the windshield cracked, and everything was fine. It was a little scary, obviously, but those things happen.
Can't we make this bigger? Because the more drama, the more headlines.
No.
All right. Let's see what Jimmy had to say about you, because he's such a huge fan. And the one thing I love about your family is it doesn't seem fake. You all genuinely seem to like each other. How novel.
Well, yeah, he lies a lot too. But very honestly, I wish I could get over there and see that show because, like I said earlier, people from England fly over to see our show, and they tell us how great he is. Well, I'm going to tell you that he and I have a video phone, and we talk to each other, probably every other week. And I will tell you that Jimmy was so nervous to memorize all of his lines, and he would call me up and read his lines to me, and I was his judge.
So you're now a producer?
I was his acting coach for a while over Skype. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the Skype coach.
There's got to be a payment somewhere for that.
Oh, you better believe it. You know, I'm with interest.
All right, here's Jimmy Osmond.
I still get butterflies when I perform, and I know my brothers do, and my sister, because we care. And I care about the person that spent their hard-earned money that came to make it happen for all of us here. I care that I deliver for them, what a cool and infectious thing to be involved in when you can literally take 2 hours out of somebody's life where they leave their troubles at the door and they can, get lost in this musical or in a concert, whatever. It's such a cool job, and it makes you feel like your day is worth it, And you talk about, Donny is a perfectionist, but it's not just in show business. It's in every aspect of his life. I mean, our dad was an Army sergeant, and when he wasn't, he was always working no matter what he did. And when Donny goes home for 2 days, he is cleaning out the storage shed. I mean, he is a hard-working guy, down to earth, and he's really one of my heroes. He really is.
And it's always nice when you see something like Larry King Live and you're all on together and we get to hear your stories, the ups and the downs, because life isn't always showbiz, is it?
No, peaks, valleys. We've had a lot of both, and no family escapes health issues, financial stress. I mean, we all, put our pants on one leg at a time, and I've said that many times, but it's really a true story. This so-called thing called celebrity is really a phony, false thing, and if you allow yourself to get caught up in your own hype, that's when you're ready for a fall. And we have had quite a few tough times, but those times have made us stronger.
But the one I really want to meet is Marie. How do I get a date with Marie?
Well, just tell her that her business manager, which is me, said she has to say hi. No, she's a wonderful gal. And talk about talented. And she's got so much momentum right now in America. She's got a new television series coming out, and I'm just really proud of her. And she's had struggles. Talk about struggles in your life. She's gone through a couple divorces, and she has 8 children. Most 5 of them are adopted, and she's dealt with about every life possible situation, and she always comes out just graceful.
But I think, as she said before on TV and on radio, it's you guys who keep her going together, the unity between the family, and that's so inspirational at this time more than anything, with all that goes wrong in the world and all that's going on. It's all about the team, isn't it, at home?
Well, it is. I think we learned something early on is that family is more important to us. You usually only realize that the beginning of your life and the end of your life. But fortunately, we've been able to somehow hold on to each other in spite of our differences, because we have many differences, like every family. But I know when the chips are down, my brothers are there for me, and so is my sister. So it's pretty cool.
We're back with our remaining moments with Donny Osmond, and thank you again for talking to me, because I see you on things like Larry King and proper interviewers and proper shows. Yeah. What is it like to still be popular and still be current and still be on the TV and still have casinos begging you to come here? It doesn't really happen, does it, at your time of life? I'm not saying that you're aged or anything.
Well, no, I'm 51, so I am up there in years, and particularly when you're dealing with a business where youth is important. Well, I had that, and I lost it, and I gained it again. So the big difference is I appreciate everything that's happening right now, because yes, we're riding a wave. Who knows how long the wave will last? I'd like to think it's going to last for the rest of my life, because I've gotten over the hurdles, I've gotten over the trendy things, and now I just am enjoying a very nice, calm career. Who knows if I'm going to have another hit record? Who knows if I'm going to have another hit television show? But do you know something, Alex? It doesn't matter anymore, because I just enjoy what I do. And like I said earlier, I cherry pick what I want to do now, rather than saying, oh, this is going to make me more popular. No, this is going to make me happier.
And I hope this has made you happier.
This has actually put me into a real deep funk. I'm going to need some psychiatrists to help me out of this now.
And you've got to do a show in 20 minutes. Before we go, loads of emails have been coming in, people asking questions like, what's your favourite thing?
My BlackBerry. I keep my BlackBerry with me everywhere. I have to change it every once in a while because the email address gets out. But probably my BlackBerry.
Don't you get sick being bothered, though? Because there must be a million people trying to get hold of you. Isn't there a point, though, where you're just fed up of that?
No, not really. I mean, there is a time where I shut everything down, and like I said, half of my life belongs to my wife and children. But I am about to launch my brand new website that I've worked very hard on. And with that site, there's blogging, there's texting, there's all kinds of stuff to stay in touch with me. Because the more information I acquire, like I said earlier, the more I'm informed, the better decisions I can make.
The thing is, you see, they want to know everything about you. Yeah. And on this website, presumably there's going to be video, there's going to be everything.
Not only that, I mean, I went back to my archives and found stuff that's never been seen. It's going to be put up there for the gold members. There are plans to put in a Donny cam, a live camera, backstage here at the Flamingo. Not in my dressing room. Well, maybe that'll be the platinum, okay? But the gold, we'll have a camera backstage. They can see what goes on backstage. It's just going to be so interactive that everybody, all age groups, because it's quite interesting. A lot of young kids are now coming to the show. And these plans that I have in the future could even acquire even a younger crowd. So.
Well, www.donny.com. Thank you very much for talking to me. It's been a real pleasure. And we could do this for another hour, because the thing is, we haven't talked about any of the people you've worked with, the things you've done, because you've done everything. And that's a really nice place to be.
Well, that's the last part of our show here in Vegas. If you do get a chance to come over and see it, as you saw last night, it's kind of a special time of the show, a perfect way to close it. And that is just a recap of a lot of the stars that we've worked with. And even Marie and myself, as we watch this every night, it's a little bit overwhelming that you go from people like Groucho Marx and Bob Hope and Lucille Ball, all these stars that we've had a chance to work with over the years.
And what went wrong that you're now sat here with me?
Well, you know, sometimes your career has to go take a dive. And
somebody needs firing for this, don't they, really?
Exactly. Who is this Alex guy?
Donny Osmond, thank you very much. I think this show is terrific, and there's a lot of shows here that are terrific, but your performance is second to none. Your energy is remarkable, and the fact that you give 100% is so rare. Thank you for being you, and to all your fans, I hope you've enjoyed this hour, because they just want more and more Donny Osmond.
Well, Donny.com, you'll see the webcam.
Thank you very much, Donny.
All right, buddy, take care.